heard the story, but I grew up on a farm, and my grandpa, I was 10 to 12 years old, he used to pick me up. My mom and dad were working or whatever, and my grandpa would pick me up. We'd head out to the farm, so I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. Well, on the farm, you had to, sometimes we had horses and whatever, but we had to put the fence up. So I don't know if any of you have seen a barbed wire fence before, but there's a process on putting a barbed wire fence up. Okay? So the first thing you have to do, so in this particular example, we had some fence that broke down and the horses got out. So on the way to my farm, I said, we're going to put up some fence today. I'm going to teach you how to put up fence. Right? And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So there's a process. So the first thing we had to do was, back in the day, you didn't have these big power machines or whatever, right? My grandpa had, the thing where you dig the hole. But I don't know if any of you guys have seen those before. The big, pardon me?
The auger.
Yeah, so you dig down the hole, and then, they're all a little bit farther apart, right? And it was just me and him, and he was like 75 years old at the time, and there was me, who was 10 to 12, I forget, but I remember the story. So it was going to be a big job, because the posts were keeping horses out, we'd already bought the posts, they were in the back of the half-ton truck, and then there was already the barbed wire fence wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
So make the holes, right? Then you have to take the pole, and then you have to bang down on it, right? Right? So everybody can figure it out. So I remember him doing the thing, whatever, and the first time the pole was right next to us, so we could just grab it and put it up here. But then as we moved over to this one, he did the hole, whatever, and then he said, kind of yelled at me and said, go get the pole. And I was like, oh, sorry, and I ran and got the pole. He said, let me tell you something right now. It's your job to know what I need before I need it. I want you to think about that a little bit. Was my grandpa teaching me how to build fence? Or was he teaching me a little bit about life? It's your job to know when I need the pole before I need it. So at the time I was thinking, a 10 or 12 year old, geez, I'm only 10 or 12, I'm going to know what my grandpa wants before he needs it. But as I thought about it, that kind of stuck with me. It wasn't about the pole, it was always thinking ahead of what was going to happen next. And I think that's the lesson and analogy I want you guys to learn from this, is that we got to think sometimes what's next. It's not just what's in front of us, it's what the next thing could happen would be. What's the domino that could fall? Right? So those are do you guys kind of get the analogy? And you kind of get how that was a really good example for my life, and always thinking ahead, and always thinking what the next thing was before, I needed to figure out that he needed the pole right when it was ready to go in, not wait till he was done and then go get it. I needed to have the pole ready for him. Right? Okay, awesome. Okay, let's go to the next thing here.